finna get your ass the game, man. You know I break it down. Come on, man, you know it's Bain.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bain Break It Down Forex. It's your boy Big Bain in this thing. And you guys guessed it. Another week, another opportunity for us to make some money in the Forex market. So let's get right to it. Alright. Boom. Over on the dollar, guys. So we had a nice push down on Thursday. Alright. I forget if we had economic news that day. I believe we did, but we had a nice push down and we changed from basically this uptrend that we were in to where price came all the way down, breaking this low. So we've changed from up to down. Now, the thing about that is that even though we've changed to down, there was a major demand area here that could cause the dollar to continue to rise, even though that rise will simply be the pullback of the new down structure that we have. But again, it could also, just continue rising, right? As this could have just been a deep retracement to the uptrend, right? To just tap into this demand area. But long story short, right? We've had a break of a low. We made a new low. So everything that's going to happen between this low and this high will be internal, all right? But it'll be the pullback phase of this new downward push, all right? So in that pullback, I am expecting the dollar to rise potentially to this supply area before turning around, all right? So I want to make a big emphasis on if the dollar reaches supply and starts to fall, we are going to see a major rise in gold and silver, all right? But that's only if the dollar happens to get up to supply. This week, we'll see that take place, all right? So on the dollar, guys, I'm bullish for the retracement of this new downward move, all right? I'm bullish, but then once it gets up to supply, I will be bearish on the dollar and I will be looking to buy gold and silver. But for now, gold and silver most likely will retrace as the dollar rises to fill this imbalance, potentially tap supply before it drops. All right, so initially bullish and then overall bearish on the dollar. All right, moving over. JPY. So I told you guys in my watch list last week that JPY was ready to explode, and it did exactly that on Thursday around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. JPY took off. All right, it was intervention from their government because their currency was extremely at a low point and very undervalued. So they interjected a way to make their currency valuable, and that made JPY shoot to the moon. The J pairs, especially GJ, went 615 pips overnight, well, in 2 hours. All right, absolutely insane. But I set you guys up for that last week, so if you caught it, congratulations. Right, I'm lacing you up again this week with a similar situation. So because we had the major rise on the JPY, we started to fall, right? Well, obviously we can expect the retracement right down to any points of interest with this major up move. And you can see there's a huge fair value gap from here to here, and then there's another fair value gap from here to here, right? So we can easily start to retrace and get to these points of interest before we rise again. All right, so if JPY is going to break below this support and continue to fall, you want to be looking to buy, pairs like GJ, AJ, etc. All right, but if we happen to respect the support and maybe start to break above, then yeah, we can probably see the J's fall a little bit more. But I definitely think we're going to get more of a push down, and it typically happens when you get massive moves up like this. You'll get at least 50%, right, of a retracement, on that particular kind of move. But I am expecting it to go super low before it rises to get back up to the weekly or the high of the previous week. All right, so I'm bearish on JPY, looking for pullbacks to any of the J pairs. All right, so buying them, and then once we get lower on the JPY, I'll be looking to sell the J pairs once again, like we did this week and made 615 pips on GJ in a matter of 2 hours. All right, guys, please hear me and pay attention to what I'm saying. It'll get you paid. I'm bearish on JPY and then overall bullish once we get to a discount on the chart. All right, moving over to our dollar. Pretty plain and simple. Because I'm expecting the dollar to rise, I am expecting the dollar to fall, maybe to, you know, this fair value gap, maybe even to this support area that we have here before rising. All right, it may even just stay at this demand level, play around, and then potentially rise right from there. But just overall, because I'm bullish on the dollar, I'm going to take a sell on our dollar and see how far down I can catch it, you know, coming into the week. All right, so I'm bearish on our dollar. All right, moving over to euro dollar, and you can see euro dollar was going down, but then we had a change here, breaking this high. So from this high to this low, everything is internal, so we're expecting a retracement, right, to a point of interest like the trend line or the demand area, and then we'll be looking for euro USD to rise from there. But for now, definitely looks like euro USD is going to fall a bit more, right, coming into, you know, possibly these point of interest, right, maybe sweeping the weekly low before going. And then also just, you know, looking at this, you know, bird's eye view, we can still fall even more, right? It just depends on how far up the dollar is going to go. Like I mentioned, it may get up to supply, right? And if it does, then we may have a situation where euro drops a little more than just this demand area. All right, but for now, again, I'm bearish on euro USD, but then once the dollar looks bearish, I'll be bullish on euro USD. All right, that's how that works, guys. So you know, try to take advantage of reading what it shows, and then you'll be good. Okay, bearish on EU. Over to GU, same exact thing. We broke the high, we made a new high, and we have our low. So everything happening between that high and that low is internal. We're looking for price to get to those points of interest once again, which is this fair value gap, or all the way down at this support area. So we had a nice bearish engulfing candle here on the 4 hour, and then from there we kept falling. So I do expect GU to continue to fall, just a little drop, you know, pull back a little bit and then get down to this low, and we're talking roughly 140 pips on GU. I am bearish. All right, moving over to New Zealand dollar, and look, we failed to break above these highs, right? We did break this low right here, all right, giving us a change from up to down. All right, the retracement has completed. It has swept liquidity behind this resistance area, right? And then we got a nice bearish engulfing candle on the 4 hour. So once again, looking at the RSI, all right, we're not really quite oversold, but still it looks very good for a selling opportunity down to the low that it made for about 80 some odd pips. All right, bearish on New Zealand dollar. All right, over to dollar CAD, you guys can see broke the low, made the new low. Once again, everything from the high to the low will be internal, right? Meaning the retracement, the pullback, or the correction to the run, right, which was causing price to fall, right, will correct that run, right, with the pullback, getting to points of interest, right, either the supply area here, potentially this fair value gap here, etc., etc. All right, but for US dollar CAD, I am expecting it to rise potentially, you know, to this area, because it is a bit of a level that will be holding liquidity behind it. Okay, so I'm expecting price to get up to here, possibly push a little further, and then maybe fall from there. All right, guys, again, just lacing you up, easy plays. All right, now this is against the trend, which is, you know, down on the dollar now, but you know, we can catch that and then turn around and then get in the direction of the trend going down, right? It's all about how you choose to play it, but just know you have options and they are there this week. All right, so bullish on dollar CAD. over to $CHF, same exact thing. All right, we broke this low, made the new low, nice rejection of that support area, a nice bullish candle. So I'm expecting $CHF to continue to rise. All right, over to JPY, you can see that it tanked. All right, when the JPY rose, JPY, I was bragging about GJ, but UJ, which I also set you guys up for, went 500 pips in just 4 hours. All right, absolutely insane or ridiculous. Maybe really 8 hours, but still just ridiculous move. All right, and again, most people don't see this in their lifetime of trading, but if you are consistent with showing up and marking up the charts and trading, you will catch moves like this from time to time. All right, but my team caught it. So again, if you guys want a piece of the pie, come holler at me, forexwithbain.com. Let's get it in. All right, but we are now taking UJ for the buy, for the retracement, for the correction, for the pullback. Okay, and we're looking to catch just about 353 pips of that before we probably turn around and sell it once again. Okay guys, everything is looking picture perfect. You just got to show up and show out. I'm bullish on UJ. All right, over to pound odd. All right, looking at it from the 4 hour, again, we broke this low, made the new low. We're retracing, but it's very, very choppy. It's very, very ugly, right? So we can end up rising to sweep all the liquidity behind these highs, get up to the supply area before falling. So on pound odd, I am bullish, as I believe it will seek out liquidity to the upside. So buy side liquidity before potentially respecting this level of supply and continuing to fall. But again, we sold from a very high point and we made over 300 pips on pound odd. But for now, I'm bullish on pound odd up to supply, and that'll get you about 200 pips. All right, moving over to pound CAD. Pound CAD broke a low, made a new low, and again, retracement is very, very choppy, but we did tap into supply and we got a nice bearish engulfing candle. So again, there is possibility that we can rise to get a little deeper into maybe this supply area, because there's a fair value gap here. So that is a possibility, right? But because it's respecting this supply area so well, we could absolutely just tank on pound CAD all the way down to the swing low that we see here. That's also liquidity spot for 422 pips. All right, I'm bearish on pound CAD. Over to pound CHF, same exact thing. All right, so we ended up breaking a low here, changing from up to down, and then we made a lower high. Now with this, right, we're still internal, right? There's our high, there's our low, so all of this is still internal. I am expecting a push up into one of these points of interest before we get a push down on pound CHF. All right, so again, temporarily bullish for the pullback, but then after that, definitely looking to lock and load on pound CHF going down to at least this low for 140 pips. All right, that's what we have on pound CHF. All right, over to pound New Zealand, we broke the high, made the new high, started the retracement, and we're heading to this demand area, right? So we'll probably push down a little bit before we start to rise. Okay, so on pound New Zealand, just looking for a little tap into demand, and then if it does, it gives me a nice bull candle, I'll be looking to buy. And if we just take it to the high, we got 170 some odd pips. All right, I'm bullish on pound New Zealand. All right, over to GJ. Look at that, right? Again, I told you guys, all right, somebody better listen to me, right? A good 500, over 500 pips, and just 8 hours, if you will. All right, on GJ. So we started to retrace. We haven't really, I'll say this is probably about 50% so far. And then we did, start to drop a little bit, but we can still get a little deeper or rise a little more, right, on that retracement before we get that major fall again. Again, don't get fooled. We may not get all the way up here. So you have to watch how price is reacting at the supply area, because if it's showing a lot of rejection, especially if bears are showing up, we may want to take that position from here down to the low and we're looking at a good 352 pips, easy peasy. All right, so bearish on GJ, right? But temporarily bullish, as I'm expecting it to do a little bit of a deeper retracement. But I'm not really concerned about catching the pullback more than I am about catching the drop to the downside. All right, so that's just what that is. GJ most likely will rise first before we get the drop, so just be mindful of that. All right, but if you see that it has risen, especially about Tuesday or so, and it's starting to reject the fair value gap, the supply, or what have you, or even this low that we broke, then you definitely want to be looking for that selling opportunity where you can end up catching once again about 500 pips on GJ. I am temporarily bullish, overall bearish. All right, guys, moving over to silver. All right, so this is where it's going to get interesting, guys. All right, we had a change from silver falling to now silver breaking a strong high and then making a higher low and a higher high. So because the dollar is going to rise, I do see silver potentially getting to any one of these points of interest, right? These demand areas, possibly even sweeping the low. But I definitely believe silver is now ready to rise. Okay, guys. So initially out the gate, we will get this retracement, right, to the new change, right, from going down to up. Now we'll get the retracement to this new up move coming down. Right, we'll get the retracement, but once it gets to these two areas, guys, you need to be looking for your buying opportunity on silver, because it's showing us that it's ready. Right, we've been waiting a long time. As we look left, we didn't really see price break any highs, okay, and not any strong significant highs, but here was a high that broke this low and made a new low, and from there we ended up breaking above it right here. So we're definitely now bullish on silver. You just have to line yourself up to take advantage of it when it gets lower at these discounted rates. Okay, guys, don't sleep on silver. It is absolutely going to pay you if you stay on top of it. All right, I'm temporarily bearish, but definitely overall bullish on silver. Hear me well. All right, I'm lacing you up the same way I did last week for GJ. Silver and gold are going to be your go-to plays. All right, and they're all you need to make some serious money. All right, bullish on silver. Over to gold, it did the same thing. Broke the high, made the new high, retraced to our point of interest, and started to rise again. There is a fair value gap here, which is why it stalled and it's starting to retrace. But guys, once it gets into this area, it will rise. I'm telling you, it's going to rise. So you need to be able to have a buy limit order in this area or a buy stop order above this high. If you do so, you'll be super happy that you did, because looking at gold from the daily, we can see that sky is the limit. First stop will be about 5,000, right? And second stop about 522. And we can just keep climbing to every high, potentially getting to maybe 5,600, which was the all-time high. All right, guys, I just know I'm trying to give it to you. All right, gold is going to skyrocket. You just need to be ready to take advantage of it. I know me and my team will. Right, so if you want to also be able to take advantage of it, just hear what I'm saying. Buy limits, buy stops, and watch what happens. All right, over to natural gas. So we broke a high. We almost got into the supply area, but we got a nice bearish engulfing candle. So I do believe that we may still push up a little bit to sweep the weekly high, tap into supply, and then drop. All right, so I'm bearish on natural gas, but I'm watching out for just a little bit of a sweep, right, and a tap into supply before we drop. If that doesn't happen and it just drops, it is what it is. But once it gets to these areas, I'll be looking to buy natural gas. But for now, I'm bearish. All right, over to oil, and we broke the high, right? We were down on oil. We started to rise, made a new high, and now we've retraced to a nice demand area. Oil is out the gate, ready to rise once again. Right, so please be looking for your buying opportunity where I can see oil getting right to this level. That is a $15 move on oil, and it pays 100 pips per dollar. All right, so just crazy money on oil, with a great opportunity to get in right now with a position like this where price is. You can do stops behind the demand area, or you can do it behind the previous weekly low and aim for this high. You're still getting a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Guys, this is a beautiful play. You know, even here is even a better one, 1 to 4, right? But I'm bullish on oil. SPY, all right? So SPY has broken the high, made a new high, a new all-time high, probably at that. But then we dropped, all right, on Friday, just kind of, you know, starting the retracement, all right? And we didn't quite break the low just yet, but just know if we push down a little more and we close, SPY is most likely going to start to fall. All right, so looking at it from this 2-hour time frame, and now you guys can see, right, we're starting that internal retracement. We may come here and rise, we may come to the fair value gap and then rise, but we do have an opportunity to sell SPY before SPY potentially rises again, as the dollar will get to supply and then fall. All right, so on SPY I am bearish. All right, and there's a nice little fair value gap right here that it could actually respect on the way down. So, you know, look at that for your selling opportunity, and you can either catch it to where we broke, or again somewhere deeper in the fair value gap, possibly even to this demand area. But initially I am bearish. All right, so over to NAS, and same exact thing. We broke a high, we made a new high, and now we started to retrace. So I'm just looking for NAS to drop a little bit more, but it is definitely bullish. All right, the drop is just the retracement, don't forget about that. But you can still make a nice bag getting to this area that's 200 points, right? Or to the other low that's about 400 points. Okay, and then from there see how it's reacting, and then look to get into a buy on NAS. All right, last but not least, US 30. And man, this was just textbook cleaning house, engineered liquidity with this consolidation, broke the low, sweeping the sell side, and then using that to fuel its way up to take out the buy side of the consolidation of the swing high, and then making this new high with a bearish engulfing candle breaking lows. Guys, US 30 is absolutely going to fall and fill in some more of this imbalance before potentially rising again. All right, so just look for your selling opportunity on NAS. You may want to see it just kind of push up a little bit more like this, right, before you sell it, okay, to come down and get to that demand area. All right, but overall bearish, right out the bearish right out the gate on US 30. But then, you know, getting to this area, I will be bullish on US 30. All right, so again, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Get everybody in, and let's win. Okay, because we doing a lot of that. All right, but yeah, guys, in the meantime, in between time, y'all know what it is. It's your boy. Peace.
Wanna get money? Wanna get paid? Master Forex, like a sensei? Then you know you gotta come and swing my way. And if you wanna fast forward, hit replay.